Hey, you guys, this is Sky Juice coming to you live and direct, and I have my wonderful co-host, Tony B, in the house, and we are here with the Art of Living. We are having a marvelous time doing our podcast around the world, and we are so happy that you can join us from wherever you are and whenever you are, because this, stays on deck and you can retrieve it at any time. So tonight, we have a really good friend of mine who I think is one of the most amazing people on the planet, for real. He's yes, yes, sir.
Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, folks. We appreciate your support. We always got to put that in there. Please like and subscribe.
I'll post that in a second, for sure. So we're broadcasting on Facebook, Sky Juice page, Tony B and Sky Juice YouTube page, and another Sky Juice page on YouTube, because we're just fabulous, right? But tonight I have a really good friend. I think he is one of the most amazing persons on the planet, for real. Like, he's up there. He really is. And I met him online. He's one of those, you know how you just are on Facebook and friends like people and and they come through your cipher, and he was doing astrology readings and what have you. And I want to believe the connection was Kenya K. Stevens. I think maybe I don't remember, but it's been years. I think it's been more than 10 years, something like that. Okay. Anyway, let me just bring him on. Oyi's son, he's an astrologer, but what we're talking about tonight, which I think is fantastic, is psychedelic mushrooms. And I know his perspective is way more supernatural than just floating in the air. You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing him in, introducing, here he is. Boom, technology. How you doing?
Peace, what's going on? I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for connecting. So that was my introduction. I know you're way deeper than just astrologer, but I think that's a really good name for you, because that's how I know. I know you as the astrologer, but I know you do a lot more, and I know you're deeper than that, and you have a couple more titles under your name. So you want to share a little bit of who you are to our listening audience?
I appreciate it. I am Oyi's son, and I am your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. And I just so happen to do mushrooms, entheogens, and I teach people how to get in contact with their spiritual powers so they can have the revenue and the relationships they deserve, show people how to chase their purpose so money will chase them and stop feeling so empty inside and turn their inner magic on. And I have a lot of tools I like to use to make that happen.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. That's already fascinating.
And I did, the first time I met you physically, you had your restaurant in Baltimore, and I came through with Chi. I came through there with Chi, but I do think I remember you as well through the Progressive Love and Juju Mama and Kenya K.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know you came down to the Yaba Pod. That is cool.
Well,
that's a long time ago.
Already.
Huh?
But I got questions for him already.
All right. Tony's mind is like, okay.
Oh, yeah, all the time. So
go ahead.
So when did you originally start getting into the whole, I guess we won't talk about the astrology thing, but the mushroom thing, and then just kind of looking for more enlightenment? Like, when did you start, and what sparked your interest to go that route?
The crazy part is I've been doing astrology for 19 years, but I only got into the mushroom 3 years ago.
Okay.
Into the mushrooms on my birthday, May 17th, 2018. And before that, if somebody would have told me like a month before that I'd be where I am right now in 2021, I'd have been like, man, mushrooms is for white people, man. Get away get away from here with that. You know, what are you talking about? And I was wrong. I was super wrong, and I was dead wrong, right? And I found out. So I'm also a historian. So my degree is in professional history, North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. Big shouts out to the class of 2007. And when I love the history of anything, money, sex, e-commerce, cryptocurrency, whatever. And astrology, like helps me study history. So when the mushroom and Kemet is my thing, Egypt. And like, I'm a former, what do you call that? Conspiracy theorist. So I've done all that about Illuminati and Freemasons and Rosicrucians and all of that stuff. But in ancient Egypt, on the walls of Egypt, you see those Masonic symbols and you see the suns and you see different things. And then it was like, yo, this is where they got it from. Yeah. I was just like, wow. So in March or April of 2018, my doctor Amsu, he's a naturopath, Chinese medicine, all of that. He says, yo, check this book out. And it was a white couple going around to all the temples in the world, Hebrew, Muslim, Christian, whatever, and they were finding mushrooms on the walls. And they were showing the caps, they were showing the stems, and it was right there beside the Masonic and all the other stuff I had been looking at. And I was just like, I was upset. But then I was like, I can't be too mad because I'm missing something. And anytime I feel I'm missing something, I need to experience it. And but I wanted to do it the right way. I was still a little shook, Tony. Just gonna tell you the truth. I know. He was like, yo, come through. And then so it happened to be my birthday. Came in and this is the crazy part. It was he had one of his homeboys over and this other sister I know. And the sister, she left, but the other brother, he knew everything about mushrooms and psychedelics. And he just kept talking. After I had taken the mushroom, it would take about 25, 30 minutes to kick in. I just laid back and closed my eyes. And I was like, boy, I wish he would shut up because I'm enjoying myself so much. And it was like he was just talking too much. And I opened my eyes and everything was still. And I closed them and everything was real. I was like, I'd rather close my eyes and see real than leave my eyes open and things just be still. And all that night, it was wonderful. Got up the next morning because I was like, well, is it going to be an alcoholic hangover? Is it going to be like too much weed? Is it going to be like cocaine? It was clarity like I had never seen before. And I was just like, whoa. And that was where it started. And then he called me a couple of days later and said, man, you need to start learning how to grow mushrooms. I was like, grow mushrooms? And that led me into running into Baba Kalindi Iyi, who's a mushroom legend, like in Europe and in Detroit, North America, who also taught African martial arts. And once I got to him and started pushing buttons, and I like money too, because astrology is all about your bread. And I typed in Silicon Valley mushrooms. Everybody should type in Silicon Valley mushrooms and hit enter. Because StreamYards and Facebook and Instagram or Twitter, whatever you're on with your computer, is coming through Silicon Valley. So why are they doing mushrooms in Silicon Valley? And how? And who? And I was just like, oh. And so then I just kept getting more and more curious, kept pushing on the path, and then got me where I'm at right now. I'm doing really, really well. Happiness is at an all-time high. Anxiety, abandonment issues, trust issues, all of that stuff is at an all-time low.
I have a question. So someone might scroll up and see this psychedelic mushroom conversation. What is the reason to use, what is the name of the word that you said? Psilocybin or whatever? Psilocybin. Tell us about that. Like, why? What's the purpose? Like I'm healthy.
We lost her. We lost this guy.
She'll be right back. I'm sure she'll be right back.
I think I forgot what happened. It did that before. I forgot exactly what it is. I don't think she even knows that she's off right now. But there she goes.
Oh, it just, my camera just did something.
Yeah. Okay.
you know, technology and me.
Technology, yeah. Should have did a mushroom before you did the show. Everything would have been worked better.
So my question is, why do people, what is the purpose? First of all, what is the reason? What is the purpose for doing this? Like, why does anybody, because I did ayahuasca a couple times and it didn't do anything for me. And I just think that I have like a strong reserve for not jumping through the rainbow or something.
Or somebody gave you what they call a tourist dose. And your body was like, people who are really advanced, you can't come in at the same level that beginners come in. You're going to need to put more gas in the tank to get where you're going. So they probably gave some other people who aren't as deep as you are, and they gave you the same level that they gave them this much, and they started bugging out. They gave this to you, and you was like, nah, I need a full glass. And so that's probably what happened with that. Or it could have been the practitioner. It could have been a couple of other things. But please do not think it's, oh, my tolerance is so high. We call those famous last words. So don't never say that.
No, I don't think my tolerance is so high. I think I know for me with ayahuasca, because I know that's different, but I have a very strong thing of not getting sick. So my body reacts immediately to foreign substances. So, but anyway, in regards to the mushrooms and why, like, what's the reason?
The original reason is because mushrooms are a mnemonic device that was sent to the planet 4 billion years ago. And they carry all the history of every place through space that they traveled to get here. And it's like our luggage, like who we really are. We're not African, we're not black, we're not white, we're not human, and we're not from here. So we sent mushroom here to develop this planet. Then we came here with amnesia. Mushroom brings you back like Jason Bourne. Like Jason Bourne thought he was just a regular dude, but he was trained to do all these things. We have all these innate talents in us, and we are asleep at the wheel. We are crash dummies. We are walking zombies. And as long as you keep pretending that you are asleep, then you'll never discover what these technologies are that you actually carry inside of you. Because mushrooms don't bring and put something there that's not there. They show you something that's there. Now, there's a part of the story that's kind of got this whole thing complex, is there's such a wide gap of us not using them. We packed in so much trauma. Packed in so much trauma, especially as Black women, and then Black men are carrying so much trauma that when the mushroom comes in, it can't go straight to the technology until it unwinds all the trauma and dissolves it, moves it out the way, and brings it up to the surface so you can deal with it. That's why people should take mushrooms, is deal with your traumas, get past them, and what's on the other side of your comfort zone is amazing. Remember they said the grass is green on the other side? They're talking about mushrooms. They're talking about mushrooms.
Now, would that be something like, I think they said unconscious thought, like if someone is hypnotized and where they're not actually there, but they're able to kind of tap into their inner self, so they're able to say or do things that you wouldn't know. It's not, okay.
No, nobody can hypnotize you to get you to tap into the transdimensional universe.
Okay.
You can hypnotize me to stop smoking and stuff like that and go to bed earlier and have better sex and stuff like that. But for me to tap into other galaxies and actually be there, you can't hypnotize somebody to do that.
Now, when you're talking about these from what I understand, there's different type of mushrooms, right? So you have to use the right type. And I know, the person's not really familiar with that, because there's, I guess, hey, you got the regular mushroom, you just put in some spaghetti. So we're talking about a particular type of mushroom to give you the effect that you are talking about right now. Like, did you have to do a lot of research and find out how to actually grow these and where you would get these from and all that?
It was pretty easy for the grow. Baba Kalindi made a masterclass video. He was selling it for $40.
Wow.
I bought the replay. He showed what materials you needed. You go on Amazon and see the thing. You bring up a good point, because the way you grow one mushroom, you grow all of them. So there's organic mushrooms, like that's what Sky uses to make exquisite meals, to make you just want to slap your mama, right? There's no psychoactive, there's no psychotropic, no psychoactive effect, right? No bright lights and color, just a great full belly and nice and healthy. But then there's the psilocybin mushrooms, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of different strains of those mushrooms that carry the psychoactive property. So there's the one that carries psychoactive property and one that doesn't. So you got henna woods, shiitake, all that stuff that you put in on food is over there. You grow them the same, but you can't grow them in the same place. But the technique is the same, though.
Okay. Wow.
So okay. So I know some things about it, about mushrooms. I've tried them before, and I'm still, it's nothing has happened to me. The stories that I hear people going through, they don't happen to me. You know, I never float away. And sometimes I feel like I don't want to float away. Yes, sir.
So have I told you about any of my adventures on mushrooms?
You said something once about you had to have someone with you, and the first time you did it, something. It was a while ago. You had a story about that, but
I only told you about circumstances. So people who tell you about their trips, they ain't really tripping. They ain't done nothing. So you're listening to unqualified people. So if somebody was to tell me about cooking food and being a vegan chef, and then I would have to qualify them by comparing them to you. So you have to qualify the people that you're getting information from, which is that's where I come in. Like in 2021 is I have to be the voice of the qualified to speak when there's so many billions of jokers I had capping who should shut up and stop talking. You know what I'm saying? But also too, I have to say this point. You're a control freak, and most people are control freaks. A lot of women are control freaks, and they are like, oh, I don't want to lose control. And you listen to all these false narratives that somebody else wants you to be scared with them. Misery loves company, so they want you to be scared too, right? And they want you to be in that particular fantasy thing. But I'm here to tell you that all of that is ridiculous. And all of you control freaks are holding on to nothing. You're absolutely holding on to nothing. You're blocking yourself. Men too. And this helps you get past the control, helps you learn what submissive really is. Submissive has nothing to do with man or woman and husband and wife. It's about submitting to the divine in you. But you can't, because you got all this stuff up here. Like, think about it really. Is your mind really worth saving? Just think about your position where everyone is at. Do you know anyone that really needs to keep the mental state in the position where they are now who wouldn't like an upgrade? Nobody from mushrooms has come down. They've all went up in other places. Do you have an iPhone?
No.
Or see this iPad?
Android.
Mushrooms. This comes from mushroom technology. Steve Jobs, you couldn't work for Apple. You couldn't work for Apple if you didn't do hallucinogens. If you didn't do it, you couldn't work there. So a lot of the technology that's coming out of Silicon Valley is mushroom technology. It helps your problem solving go so much quicker. Like stuff that you were taught linearly, it moves the linear out of the way. One thing I like to say is it rolls your windows down. Right now, everybody's riding with their windows rolled up. Even right now, I'm not on any mushrooms, so my windows are rolled up. I'm really not seeing everything. Some of my sensories are down for protection. But when the mushrooms come in, They roll all the windows down. Just imagine you riding like 80 miles an hour. You roll all the windows down. This is like fresh, and in the country too, not on 85. Not I'm talking about like in the backwoods.
I just did that actually.
Right. That's the reality. And then you get to see, and then how they welcome you in, because they are sentient beings. Mushrooms aren't plants. Mushrooms breathe oxygen. Right. They're fungi, right? And so they're intelligent. My mushrooms are listening to me right now. They're listening to this conversation. They perceive that the mushrooms are blockchain technology. That's where that came from. One of the oldest wallets in cryptocurrency is called the mycelium wallet. Mycelium is the network that mushrooms grow out of. If we didn't have mushrooms, if we didn't have the mycelium network, we wouldn't have life on planet Earth. They are the foundation for life on planet Earth. So why would I want to keep running from that? Because I'm looking around at white Jesuses and Santa Clauses and Easter bunnies. Shit, help me wash that out. Help me have a better image of myself. But it also removes the desire to do harm to other people or yourself, which is why they made it a Schedule 1 in the 70s, because white men were saying, I'm not going to fight in your war. They were sticking flowers. They were sticking flowers in the barrels of guns. And they was like, I'm not going to fight nobody. So then Mr. Charlie up in the government was like, if there's something in these streets that's going to make my white man not do what I tell him to do and go kill people for no reason, we have to make that illegal. And that's where the war on drugs started. Because they wanted to make sure, look how many movies that you see out here about making a super soldier. That's all the movies about, making a super soldier, making an assassin, making, you know what I'm saying? And they're investing millions and millions of dollars. And then all of a sudden, he plucked 5-6 grams of dried mushrooms, put them in his mouth on a Friday or Saturday night, and wake up the next day and be like, you know what? I ain't killing nobody. You're going to be like, bro, I just invested like $8 million in you. Yes, you are going to kill you. You've already killed like 32 people. You never get caught. I'm finished. The real me. I'm going to go start picking sunflowers and be a vegan chef of Sky. I'm going to learn Spanish. They'll be like, what?
I go to Puerto Rico. Oh, yeah, by the way, Tony, Oyi came down to Puerto Rico. We had a ball.
Okay.
He came to a wellness retreat, and we went salsa dancing. We went hiking in the rainforest.
Horseback riding.
Horseback. I mean, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So anyway, Darren says, have you investigated the tree barks, Ibogaine from Africa? Ibogaine from Africa. It is supposed to cure addictions and addictive behavior of any type. Oh, so you're familiar. What is this? What is this he's speaking of? I'm not familiar.
I love when the white man tell half the truth. I get to come tell the other half. So Ibogaine is a bark from an African tree that is used in ceremony, and it is right now very widely known and used for breaking hardcore addictions like heroin and heavy opiates. But it's thousands of years older than heroin. So Tony, if it's older than heroin and is only found in Africa where there's no heroin problem, Tony is thinking, well, what were they using it before heroin? I know Tony's thinking that. Because heroin ain't that old. Heroin is nasty, but it ain't that old.
No.
Now Ibogaine or Iboga is tens of thousands of years old. They were using it to get in contact with their ancestors. But Iboga or Ibogaine, you really have to be careful with that, because that can kill you. Mushrooms can't kill you. Mushrooms can't kill you, but Ibogaine, if you do too much of it, it can kill you. And so the rituals that they go through outside in nature are for that particular setting. So a lot of people see Ibogaine and be like, oh, I want to do mushrooms outside like Ibogaine. Everything is not done the same way. Like a lot of people disrespect mushrooms and want to treat it like they treat marijuana.
Now, didn't they legalize mushrooms in, was it Colorado?
Oregon.
Oregon. Okay, Oregon.
So there's decriminalization and there's legalization.
Oh.
We're fighting for decriminalization, not legalization. Because if I legalize something, I'm gonna legalize tomatoes. I put Sky out of business because she can't use them unless she has a license. And if I find out that she's using tomatoes to cook her food and she doesn't have a license, she's going to jail. That's legalization. Because now the government can regulate it. Decriminalization is taking a mushroom that grows naturally in the forest and saying, yo, this is no longer a crime to have it. So we want to decriminalize it. We want to decriminalize it because it never should have, it was never, nature is not a criminal. You're going to criminalize something, let's criminalize poison oak and poison ivy.
And sugar.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get started with that. That's bad for you.
We could create a list.
Yeah, I was saying sugar, you know.
Yeah, create a list.
I'm just saying.
Corn syrup.
Now, see, what you're thinking about right now would take a lot of people to deprogram their mind, because where we're programmed right now, as far as where most people are supposed to think, so many people haven't been able to take a step back and look at the big picture. So with everything that you're saying right now is like totally foreign, and like, what is he talking about? Because they're programmed to believe, you know, a certain type of way of how we're functioning all the time. Yeah. So like what you're talking right now, it would take somebody, in my opinion, that's in a more deeper thought conscious than the, you know, because superficially they'd be like, oh, he's just a drug addict. No, but we're programmed to believe certain things like that. You know, even with the whole Schedule 1 of marijuana and all that, they know damn well that marijuana is not. Now, the way they're making it now, and strong as they're making it, it might be a little something different with it, but natural, just like a mushroom, naturally comes from the earth. You know what I mean? So how could it be something that's not really chemically?
These people that you're talking about take ibuprofen. These people that you're talking about take pharmaceuticals from over the counter that have a warning label that says your asshole may fall out and you may have a heart attack and become suicidal, and they'll still take it. So my report to them is, one, what I do is none of your damn business. Number two, this ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
So this is the same way that we talk about even strategies to talk about decrim. There's a tree. Which one is the easiest to get, the low-hanging fruit or the one at the top?
Low.
So the low-hanging fruit is people who already are involved in entheogens, mushrooms, and psychedelics. Let's organize them. They didn't even know they could talk first. Now let's organize them. The middle part of the tree is Tony and Sky. Y'all are at least wise enough to listen. Hey, can you just tell me a little more? I ain't totally against it. I ain't got enough information. Hey, can you give me some information and I won't attack you? That's in the middle of the tree. I only deal with the low-hanging fruit and the middle of the tree, because when you go to the top of the tree, you put your life in danger, because those people are like, gateway drug, and they ain't never lived life anyway. They've never done anything. They haven't accomplished nothing, but they make up 85% of the population. They, you know what I'm saying, like they're attached with trauma. And when I was younger and I had the energy, oh man, Tony, I would get in there tooth and nail. Now I just be like, hey, God bless you. God bless you, man. I ain't really got.
We have another question. Darren, he is one of our regulars. Hey, Darren. He says, do the African traditions and American Indian traditions say the same similar things with how to contact the ancestors, etc.? Where can I find the stories?
Yes to the first part. Very, very, very same and similar, because they're the same people. The tribe has just mutated into some hybrids and just spread out a little further since it used to be one landmass anyway. So then it just started separating, and then they call these Native Americans, but they're all from the same one family. Where would you find the stories? You're going to have to find someone qualified to tell you. However, if you go inside the mushrooms, all the stories are in there. All these books behind me, all martial arts on planet Earth, Taekwondo, Ninjutsu, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, all come from mushrooms. Period. Wow. Period. So the stories he's looking for.
You went so deep. You are deep. You are in the deep end of the pool.
I didn't even mean to go deep. I thought that was light.
You didn't mean to go deep, but I'm just telling you that people are over here in not on the shallow end, in the kiddie pool. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? People are feet like at their ankles. However, you are under the water.
Listen, here's one thing that we all have in common. Your DNA knows what I'm saying is the truth. So your conscious mind is kiddie pool. Your DNA, unconscious and subconscious mind is like, sure, this is cool. You're not resisting it. That's your any resistance to what I'm talking about is your conscious mind. Is your conscious mind. Right now, I'm too competitive to let somebody continually be have a higher emotional IQ than me. So guess what? I'm gonna go back to the original way. The Egyptians were using mushrooms. So they had a pretty high emotional, context. I'm going back to using what they're using to even the playing field. And I got receipts on everything I'm talking about.
So are you, or do you recommend for folks to consume mushrooms? How often?
If you're going to do a, what we call a psychonaut journey, or there's microdosing and then there's macrodosing, right? And then there's big boy. So if you're going to microdose, which is less than a half a gram, I suggest 1 every other day on an empty stomach with a glass of water in the morning. A microdose, microdose means nobody knows you're on mushrooms. Macrodose is like people know that you own something. Yeah. So you just take a little microdose in the morning, drink you some water, and it slowly works on repairing your neuroreceptors in your brain. So the trauma that so if I can take me something every other day, if I can take 14 little capsules or weigh it out, whatever, in 28 days and start the repair of my neurotransmitters in my mind, I would tell somebody to get started yesterday.
So
go
ahead.
But on the macro dose, which is where we at, 5 grams or better, 5, 7, 9 grams, we suggest you put a minimum of 28 days in between high doses. Now, if you're going like 2 grams or 3 grams, put 2 weeks in between that. Put 2 weeks in between that, because this is a spiritual element. And so it's dealing with your aura too. And you can tear holes in your aura. People don't even know, like, oh, they're hearing about aura, but there's not enough research on it to know that you can tear a hole in it. Like I can tear a hole in this shirt. So you don't want to get in there and get on the bad side of this sentient being. You think mosquitoes are sentient beings and caterpillars. Mushrooms are sentient beings, and they are feminine. And do not disrespect them. Do not show them lots of respect, and they just like a woman, they'll give you way more respect back to you. You go in there being disrespectful, you can get that hammer, but it's not a bad trip. It's just a response to how you gave it to them. And so I've learned so much humility. I've learned so much humility and how to temper my words and my actions and things like that from this grand wisdom that it brings to the table. So if you're going to do 5 grams or more, make sure you spread it out 28 days or more. And if you're going to do microdosing, then I will go every other day, maybe for a month or 2, just see how it feels, and then take a whole month off of no microdosing and then come back in. Now, some people have different strategies, 3 on, 2 off, 2 on, 3 off, stuff like that, depending on what kind of, they're called stacks, like different kind of combinations that you can use with different type of strands to get different type of results, just like food you would take, or keto versus something. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different types of diets or ways you can lose weight. So it's the same thing with the mushrooms.
So while you're dosing up like that, is it going to be basically just kind of releasing all this brain fog that we have a lot when we're trying to be able to even think?
Oh, microdosing, absolutely. Because the reason we can't think is because we got so much anxiety. I got so much anxiety. I got, man, you don't know no black person that ain't got no anxiety and trauma. Yeah. Cut it out. Tyler Perry got anxiety and trauma.
Yeah.
Terrible. So you mentioned neuroreceptors. So my grandmother, she had a stroke, and the doctor said that there was certain neuroreceptors that are irreparable, and that's why she continues to decline in health. And the stroke she had created what is called vascular dementia, and that's because the neuroreceptors kind of like burnt out. So are you saying, from the best of your knowledge, that this can help heal people with maybe dementia or any type of brain stuff going on, for lack of better words?
Well, Science Daily, March the 12th, 2019, said eating mushrooms may reduce the risk of cognitive decline. And also, John Hopkins was given $4 million from the guy who wrote The 4-Hour Work Week to do research for these same type of people suffering from dementia, suffering from ADHD, suffering from PTSD. So your person who told you that was not qualified to speak on it, and he abused his white coat. That's like, I'm a general practitioner and I'm telling you something about brain surgery, but I ain't never cut nobody's brain open before. So
no, he is qualified for that particular. He's a mental health doctor. He's the head of the mental health.
No. If he hasn't said, I'm going to experiment with it, if he doesn't have access to the current research that John Hopkins is doing in his field, he is not. He can't say that if there's something out here that he.
Yeah, I don't think his crew is privy. I don't think his crew is privy.
They're not privy. And he's a scaredy cat because he's not trying it himself. Yeah. He's not pushing the envelopes himself.
I mean, let's face it. You hear about psychedelic mushrooms, and you're thinking of freedom, peace, and love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not really thinking about healing. Like, that's the part of all of this. Even like the ayahuasca, which is also another form of psychedelic, that's the avenue that I look at and why I feel it's beneficial to some people, because there's a healing aspect to this. You know, the whole thing Darren was talking about with the addiction is ayahuasca is also used for healing people's addiction, because there's something about addiction and there's something about what's going on with someone, why they're addicted to whatever. It's psychological. You know what I mean?
No. Addictions are American. Listen, when I want to tell you something, addictions are American. This is an addictive culture we stay in. It's not individual. It's like soap, water, and deodorant. It's a part of the culture. It's not your addiction is because of this. It's because you stay in a country where you must be addicted to something. You must be addicted to something just to stay here in the United States. Are you addicted to chasing money? Are you addicted to pornography? Are you addicted to being a vegan? Are you addicted to correcting people? This is an addictive culture we stay in. And we are addicted to holding on to trauma, especially Black people. We are addicted to making excuses why we don't go into our healing. We are addicted. We are addicted to everything out here but the answer. If we was addicted to the answer, then we would be popping. But we ain't addicted to the answer yet. So I'm addicted to the answer. You addicted to the answer. Tony's addicted to the answer. So now my job is to just keep connecting the dots with y'all.
Now let's get specific when we talk about particular mushrooms, because like I was saying earlier, I know there's different types. So the mushroom that you're talking about right now, what's specific? Like which one is it? So if someone was looking at this video and they said, I want to try that, but not knowing. I hope they know that there's different types of mushrooms that you can take. So you want to make sure you're taking the right one that's going to be more helpful to you versus something that's harmful to you. So can we give a specific?
Yeah, so in the streets, you just put the word magic in front of it. Say, I'm looking for some magic mushrooms. Say, I'm looking for magic mushrooms. And then once you get past that and they say, okay, I got magic mushrooms, which strain of magic mushrooms? Now, I know you two don't smoke cannabis, but I'm going to pretend somebody over in the comments does. You go to a dispensary, you say, I want some marijuana. They're going to say you want sativa or indica. Both of them going to get you blowed. But you just need to know which way you're going, right?
Yeah,
you say, okay, I want sativa. You say, okay, now do you want gelatos? Do you want OG Kush? Do you want such and such? So you say magic mushrooms will get you in the dispensary. Then once you get in the dispensary, you can say all mushrooms are attached to a particular vortex on planet Earth. So if you're taking some Amazonian mushrooms, guess where that's going to take you to in your ceremony? The Amazons. There's some Mexicanos. They're going to take you to Mexicanas. Baba Kalindi Iyi has a strain called Tamarian Blues that is a hybrid of from Ghana and South Africa.
Wow.
And Tamaray is the ancient name for Egypt before it was called Kemet or Kush. Tamaray, land, water, and air. I mean, and fire. So it just depends on where that mushroom originated from. It carries the signature of where it's from, and it carries the signature of that culture. I've taken some mushrooms, and for the first 2 hours, everything was in Spanish. And I understood. I couldn't communicate back with them. She sees another dog. Please excuse her.
I love animals.
Yeah, so
I have some questions.
Yeah,
I got some questions on the chat. Darren says, Brother Oyi, castor oil repairs at the flesh level anything over time, and it is noted, and I have experienced it, it makes it easier for the spirit to leave the body and or dream if placed around the head and or heart area. If you can investigate further, you'll have some interesting technology. Have someone hold the hand to keep them grounded. I will look into trying mushrooms. That was a comment.
Thank you.
D. Miller says, if someone was interested in trying some, what would be a safe person or site to get them from?
So they are still Schedule 1. So they will put your ass in jail for owning some mushrooms. So since we are here on YouTube, I don't know nobody that has any mushrooms.
I heard that. Good answer. Good answer.
However, I'm sure that you are close to someone who could probably help you source some, but I don't know them. Because I'm close to some people who could help me source them, but I don't really know them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's also like who's in your network, and that's another thing too. Like, how do you cross networks safely? How do you cross networks from I'm curious to making sure I get something that's safe? Because that's what Tony's asking. Like, how do I know this is the right one? How do I know this is safe?
Yes.
I always tell people when I'm on Clubhouse and I'm talking, I'm saying, hey, Ray sell weed. If he got some mushrooms, he just trying to make some money. He don't know nothing about like what that is. So I would say go to a mycologist. Someone who grows mushrooms will know exactly where you can get either one. You're going to be able to, because they're going to sniff you out. You the police? No. Oh, okay. Well, then go over here and turn left and ask them 2 people and tell them I sent you, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be some quality too, something very safe. The thing with magic mushrooms is they carry the energy of the cultivator. Yes. Wow. So I want to know what you're about before I even say, let me source some mushrooms from you. And I learned this from this old white guy in Tampa. He had something beautiful. Oh my God. I was just like, so what strain is this? What strain? He says, it has no name. He says, I just wanted it to open people's heart. And that was my only intention from the first shovel of manure. Because manure is an ingredient in the substrate or the soil that makes it pop, pop, pop. So he said that when he stuck the pitchfork into the manure, his intention was opening the heart. So he ain't even back at the house like doing nothing. He outside smelly, shitty, opening the heart. Yes. Opening the heart. Yes. I want his mushrooms.
Okay.
Because of his intention. His intention was that. And so I was like, I'm going to call them heart openers. And I have some now that I saved for myself. And I've had some of the biggest breakthroughs emotionally as a man on that particular strand. And I can't even find him no more. So like, wow. And I don't have the genetics. If I had the genetics, oh my God. It's okay. He'll come back around. Hopefully I'm talking about him right now. He'll come back around. Let me get
it into existence. There you go.
That's right. That's right.
Out there in the universe.
But safety, man, like Tony's asking, like Ray who got weed, like if he can't tell you what strain it is, oh man, it's strong. Okay, that's cool. What's the name of it? Man, listen, man. Me and my girl took one. I ain't asking for no story, Tony or Ray. I want to know, what is this? Is it this? Is it Aztecs? Is it something over here? I need to know something. So he didn't even put enough care to find out what it was. So his intention isn't to heal you. His intention is only to profit off of you. Mm-hmm. So he's not a true healer. In this space, there's like 6 types of people. There's the cultivator, there's the person who sources, there's the sitter or gatekeeper, which is probably what I am. There's the educator, I'm that too. There's the advocate. The advocate are these people who are pushing the envelope for legalization or decriminalization on a federal level, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just an advocate here locally amongst Black people to say, this is not a drug. It's not cocaine. You'll be okay. I have to advocate like in the ground. Like, I don't know the language to talk to the lawmakers, right? And so if you're not talking to one of those people in the sector, you're probably putting yourself you're raising the chances of you getting something sideways and not having what I like to call a world-class experience. Because I like to offer people world-class. I do offer people world-class experience. I've had people come, for all over the United States. I've sat for Baltimore police officers. There's a friend of mine. She's a COVID ICU nurse in UCLA, and she's been in there for like 9 months straight. She says, when you come in there, you don't leave. She says she hadn't cried in 8 months because she's seen so much death.
Wow.
And she just came in and cried. And the next morning, she was just like, I got my emotions back. Think about a woman with no emotions. You know how we always complain about women with too much emotions. She ain't got no emotions. She can't feel.
Desensitized so much just from seeing all the trauma and all that death and pain and hurt. Desensitized and just, wow.
And for me, I love Black women. So I got into this thing because I want to see my sister, especially here in Atlanta, be healed. Because if I'm out here trying to shoot my shot and you full of trauma, then you gonna mess up my campaign.
Yeah. And then you're gonna receive that energy, the energy that they're putting off, and you gotta absorb that, and then it brings your aura down, and then you gotta reboot after you leave from them, and then every time you come around them is, I get it, man, I get it.
Tony, wait a minute, Tony knows that story a little too good right there.
Oh man, it's the story of my life.
Yeah. Darren says 7 main colors, 7 chakras. Have you guys tried the mushrooms under different exposures to colored lights?
No light. I'm old school. There were no colored lights when mushrooms first came out millions of years ago. They didn't need it.
Yeah.
So mushrooms operate best in the place where they come from, darkness.
Darkness.
Africans used to take mushrooms because it would dilate their pupils and they could see 1, 2, 3 miles out. They see a predator coming or they see some prey and be able to sneak up on it in pitch darkness.
Wow.
Pitch darkness. So you really want to see in the dark, turn the lights out and take you some mushrooms and let your body tell the truth. See, Darren has read a lot of books about the hype and ad known. That's just like a guy from Italy one time saw me come into the space I was at we were in a co-working space, and he saw my pizza. He said, "You disrespected the whole thing." He said, "In Italy, all you get is cheese. That's real pizza." He said, "Over here, Americans, you want to put salmon patties on there and anchovies, and you want to put tomatoes and spinach, pineapples, bruh. It's just eat the pizza with the cheese, the sauce, and the bread. So you really want to get down to the essence. If you're trying to get down with your ancestors, you don't need all of that. Not saying that you don't use it, but I'm just talking about when you're really getting into some heavy healing or some high dosing, like that, all that stuff goes away. Like music, like Baba Blended said, it makes its own, mushrooms make their own musics. I always thought off of music, and then it just gets annoying.
I saw that. I saw a video about that. Yeah. They put some sort of microphones or whatever up next to some mushrooms. I think it's on YouTube, and they sing.
Wow.
That was I just reposted that the other day. I'm about to order that little box. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. But I mean, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well,
goes so much more deeper. I don't even want to go that deep with it because everybody just not ready for that. But I think
you want me to tell you something, Tony. What I think, and I know exactly what you're feeling. But I like that Oyi didn't stay in the kiddie pool, because sometimes you gotta like let people like fucking reach. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole like, well, let's start with, what is a mushroom? You know what I mean? Like, I think like really just going straight into it is really like, yo, that just it excites my intelligence, because a lot of dumbed down conversations are dumbed down. You know what I mean? And yo, folks need to elevate up in here.
But I think I've told you before, Sky, when you have that mindset, sometimes you live in a lonely world, because you got to keep your conversations to a minimum with people, because you start talking and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, they don't understand where you're coming from.
It's the circle. The circle has to evolve. And the truth of the matter is like, like I live in the Matrix, and a lot of stuff that goes on around me is very la la land. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I'm not really from the Matrix. I'm over here, I come in and out, but a lot of what's going on in the world and a lot of stuff that people care about is some bullshit.
When you think about yourself on a spiritual realm, and that spirituality being you, it comes from you versus somewhere else, then you start getting deeper in the way you think. And what he's talking about when we talk about these mushrooms, like I'm there. I'm there where you at with it.
When you said about the Matrix, mushrooms help you navigate in and out the Matrix. So I am from the mindset and research that the Matrix cannot and should not be destroyed. You just need to learn how to navigate in and through it. Mm-hmm. Mushrooms help you navigate through it. Because you're going to waste your time trying to stop the boo-boo food conversations.
Yeah.
But it's so wonderful when you go to a place where you're welcomed and it is high level, and it's a place where you can eat from the table and not feel judged. It's too many people saying, oh, don't go too high level because you think you're smarter than me, blah, 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 blah. Hey, as my teacher says, limitations you fight for, you get to keep. So now I see limitations you fight for, you get to keep. So I learned I used to fight for a lot of my limitations. And then I was like, man, this mushroom can't kill me. And if it does, then are you ready to die? Have you been living a life, you know what I'm saying, that you will be going to some bad place? Do you believe in hell? So it checked it checked all of my philosophies. We don't have nobody checking our philosophies out here. We're so opinionated. We know every damn thing. Go drop you 5 grams of mushrooms, and then your philosophy will be checked. Then when you come back 6 hours later, then you'll see what's what. You know what I'm saying? Then we can have another conversation. But like people who tell me, I'm a seer and I can do this. I don't even need the mushrooms. Or I can do this. You can tell me you don't need them. I'll take that. But don't tell me you can do the same thing without mushrooms that somebody could do with mushrooms and you ain't never had them. You can get the finger. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Don't do it. But we keep honoring people who say stuff like that. And we listen to them and be like, oh, he had a bad trip. Everything is set and setting. I must say this right now, the simplistic things. Everything is set and setting. When you go and talk to a woman, it's good if you open the door. You got the set and setting. It's good that you put on deodorant. It's good that she put on lip gloss. That's the set and setting. When you do mushrooms, it's about honor. You ain't out here to be playing with. There's two places you can go with mushrooms: Woodstock and Wakanda. If you go to Woodstock, you decide you just want to party and bullshit. You're gonna take mushrooms, Percocet, smoke a blunt, and drink some Hennessy, and you're gonna eat some food. All that mushroom don't like. Mushroom like an empty stomach. You want to go to Wakanda and really get down some technology? You fast that day. Until it gets dark. You make sure the room is dark. You have someone there who sits before you, takes your keys, your phone, and any weapons. Make sure you got some water and you close to a bathroom. And then they put you in the room and give you the mushrooms. And that is how you will have the greatest experience. Because you now research on yourself. That's simple. The set and setting. It's just like a bedroom. I meet this fly chick. Come on back to the house. My game was good enough for her to get to the house. And I ain't cleaned my damn bathroom. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Or whatever. I got drawers around somewhere or something like that. I ain't got stuff right. But if I got the crib right, come on, Tony, you've been there. If the crib is right and my rhyme was right, when we get to the house, it's going to be a good night.
You just dropped a lot of key points right there when you talked about the whole setting and all that. And we're getting close to our time here. We almost get to that hour mark. But myself and even some of the listeners there want to get your contact information, your social media, so they can follow you and all that good stuff. So hopefully you can give that information to everybody.
Oh, Oyi 517, OYI, then 517. Greatest.
Where? Is that Instagram?
Yeah, that's Instagram.
That's
Oyi.
Instagram?
Yes, Instagram. Oyi 517.
Okay, she's posting it up there. Yeah. We might have to do a part 2 to this one, Sky, because it's so much more to kind of that. And I want to have that astrology. I really want to have the astrology conversation with you.
Okay, I have one more question before we shut it down, because someone did ask it, but I was thinking it anyway, so they read my mind. Mm-hmm. What about mushrooms in children?
So let's go. We're going from the bottom and go up. So if you are pregnant, you could take mushrooms under 3 grams and less through your first trimester. You're going to have a super baby because now the psilocybin is coming through the breast milk into the infant. So it's like he's getting that. Remember what you were using to repair your mind? Mm-hmm. What happens if it goes into his mind before it got messed up?
Woo! Wow.
Now when we move to my nephew is 13. My comment is I can't wait until he's mature enough to take mushrooms. But at 13, he's not ready yet. Mm-hmm. I do know my man got a 16-year-old son, went in on 5 grams of penis envy, and found out his son was holding some trauma. His son actually doesn't stay with him. He stays with his mother, and found out that there had been some sexual violations had happened. But he didn't want to talk about it. And so his father knew how to approach him. You know what I'm saying? And say, okay, look, boom. And it brought their bond together. This weekend, I sat for 2 couples. Oh my God, I gotta tell this. 2 black couples came Friday and Saturday. Oh my God. Black love exists, man. Black love exists. That woman, when she said, my man wants to try 9 grams. I've only tried 7, but if that's what he want to do, I'm with him. And she stayed in that room, and she went in there, and they came out the next morning. Go look on my IG and see the people kissing like that. That's black love, man. And they both went through some things.
Oh, I saw those pictures.
They went through some things, man. But for me, just to see that they would come right after that Capricorn full moon, I was just like, yo, this is this is what I'm talking about, like how they are bonding together and having these intimate conversations and things like that. And it made my heart feel good because guess what? I'm the one who had the setting. I was in charge of the setting. And all I did was backed out the way because we don't set intentions. We don't set intentions. We come in empty, and then when you leave full, you leave with the full experience, and then you set your intentions on that full experience.
Wow.
That's
Deep.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi's commenting. She said she saw it. She said one can't lie when they're with someone on mushrooms. So anyway, that was beautiful.
That's why we tell people
that was beautiful.
Keep your phone away from somebody, because Tony may see something and really believe it and may want to call his grandmother. That's not the right time. That's not the right time.
Not while you're on the shrooms.
No. If you're gonna sit for somebody, please take their telephone, all weapons, and their car keys. You're protecting them. Because for those of you who are like, oh, I just want to make it stop, I just want to do this, you're gonna go outside, somebody's gonna call the cops on you, and now instead of you staying in a cool place, the Atlanta Police Department or wherever police department are gonna take you to the hospital, and then you're gonna finish the rest of your ride with some handcuffs on the bed until the next morning. So be responsible. That's what I always say. Be responsible, man, and protect people from hurting themselves. Because a lot of people are holding a lot of traumas, especially us Black folks. We holding more trauma than a little bit, and we need one another. This is a time where we really need one another. A lot of people saw some things while they were in the house up under this scamdemic, you know what I'm saying, about that they did not like about themselves, and now they have an opportunity to do some healing. And a lot of people went in on mushrooms while they were in the house too, like Clubhouse mushrooms. You want to get some good mushroom conversation? Come on over to Clubhouse, but it's popping over there. But I'm just very weary. I'm very weary of the white powers that be that are trying to sneak it and make it theirs so they can turn it into another $1 billion industry. That's another conversation.
You already know.
So, I'm really thankful for y'all, man, for having me. Two brown faces that look like me having the conversations about mushrooms. This is exactly how I did it with Baba Kalindi. I want everybody to please go to Kalindi EE is all eyes. KILINDIIYI. He came in there. I thought he was going to do one show on my podcast. He ended up doing 13.
Where is that, on Instagram?
He's on Instagram, but those podcasts on Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk, okay.
So you just go on Blog Talk Radio, type in or Kalindi EE on YouTube. Before you get to the last I, you're gonna see a whole list of things. Like, he's a legend. The biggest psychedelic conference in the world is the Breaking Convention in the UK, held every other year. He was like keynoting that as a Black man from Detroit, who was also the grandson of Bumpy Johnson.
Woo! Wow.
You don't know how this stuff goes, man. Run your aura, man. Y'all gotta learn how to run your aura. Mushrooms help you run your aura. Instead of letting somebody else run your aura.
Run your own aura.
Your own aura. This is what I call this is my Mind Your Business t-shirt. I didn't know I was coming on here, and I just put this on this morning and was like, yeah, I'm minding my own business, mind yours. You ain't got to respect me, but respect your own aura. Get out my face and go over there and run your stuff. Don't worry about what I'm doing over here. But if you like how I'm running my aura, then maybe I can help you. But if you got, you know what I'm saying, you got some shade or something, man, it's too late in the day for that. Let's just go ahead, congratulate each other, get with Sky, watch Tony, hit like, hit subscribe, share this with 5 or 10 people. It's supposed to be 1,000 people, and it's supposed to be going viral, man. Go share this if you got some value out of this. Share this with some folks. Share this with some naysayers. Also share it with some people who you know do mushrooms. And please give it to Ray, your local weed man, so he can watch this too.
Word. Let me spell Kalindi, KILINDIIYI.
No. That's the first name. Kalindi, then space IYI.
IYI.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Tony, don't you type that in tonight.
No, I'm not.
Tony.
Hey, man.
Wonderful. All right, well, I'm gonna post this everywhere.
Another one. We need another one of these conversations. We need
set it up, man. Set it up.
Part 2. We got to go deeper into the rabbit hole.
I had to text him 99 times, but I was persistent. So
if she would have, Tony, if she would have made me a nice vegetarian plate, this would be my 6th episode, not my first.
Look, now I know next time when I ask her, I'm gonna say, "This is what I need you to do first. We gonna prime the engine first. We're gonna get that, and then now call them. I need you to do this first, and then call them, and then we can just go from there."
Definitely coming. I'm definitely gonna have a little get together because we'll talk on the.
We're gonna have a food truck. You're gonna have some more things. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there right now. She's gonna have a food truck.
She needs a food truck.
Sky Juice food truck.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
We'll see what's up.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen.
If she go ahead and drop these 5 grams of mushrooms and start playing around, she'll see how to get the truck.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She'll see how to get the truck. She'll see who the next $1 million play is at. I'm just saying.
See what I'm saying?
I definitely need to get that info.
Get down.
Anyway, my beautiful people, we could talk all night long, but we got another day that we got to work on. So let's make plans for the next one. Anyway, y'all, it's been beautiful. Oyi-san is amazing. Didn't I tell you it was amazing, Tony?
Man, look, I went from being tired to be like, I'm about to be up for another hour or so. I'm so amped up right now,
Yes, energy. So
shrooms is not a shortcut. He said shrooms is a shortcut, but it works. Shrooms is not a shortcut. Your natural way of doing things is the long way around. The way you've been doing things is you've been going around your elbow to your ass thinking that was what you had to do. Mushrooms is not a shortcut. It says the straightest point, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Mushrooms is a straight line. We've been bullshitting, so don't call mushrooms a shortcut. Don't do that. Mushrooms are natural. What most human beings are living unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
I want to change my lips. I want to get some shots. My ass ain't big enough. I ain't happy with me. And come on, man, stop that. Don't talk about mushrooms. You talk about yourself, but you ain't talk about mushrooms.
They need additives and preservatives. They don't know about the natural.
Y'all.
I like Tony. Sky. You should have said Tony was gonna be here. That's what you should have said. You need to meet Tony. Tony, I can see how he's additives and preservatives. That was good. I'm using that tomorrow. I'm using that tomorrow in my
Tony.
See, there you go.
Tony's the one.
Hey, I'm just trying to be a vessel for everybody else. We're
going worldwide with this podcast. So
yes, we are.
Anyway, y'all have a great evening. We got things to do. On to the next project. So talk to you all later. Thank you, Oyi-san, and we will be in touch.
You're welcome.
Peace, y'all.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on board.